Joining me now is Bullseye American Ingenuity Fund Portfolio Manager Adam Johnson. Adam, good to see you.
Likewise.
Your reaction to this volatility?
Well, unfortunately, it's something we've all had to come to grips with, and a lot of it, Maria, is driven by algorithms. You know, in the olden days, it used to be that something would happen, and then you get on the phone and you'd call people and say, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And unfortunately, that's not how the game is played anymore. Computers are programmed to look at headlines, especially the negative ones, and when they see a headline that is negative, they hit the futures so hard that the rest of us are trying to figure it out. And a lot of times it takes 10 or 15 minutes, and sometimes not until the next day, which is why we have had three what I call dipsy doodles related to trade, where you get negative headlines and then there's a little bit of a reversal, so the market goes down, comes back up. We've had 3 round trips like that over the past 10 days. So yeah, it's something we're all dealing with, this volatility, Maria.
Yeah, but Adam, I mean, there are new worries now about a bust in credit and access to credit. We did see some auto parts related lenders trade down, and actually some are actually talking about fraud in the industry. What's your sense of the regional banks that are tied to the auto and auto parts sector?
Well, we had some news that concerned a lot of people, because a couple of the regional banks earlier in the week talked about provisions for bad loans. As it turns out, Maria, the one that really got the most attention, Zions Bank, had to effectively take a write-down of $50 million. And that headline scared a lot of people. Zions Bank, known for credit quality, $50 million. Well, actually, that is less than 0.1% of their loan book. And so I think calmer heads sort of prevailed towards the end of the week as people started analyzing what it really means. There are always issues in the economy. Even Jamie Dimon has talked about them. And yet, Maria, we have an economy that's growing close to 4%. And while employment has shown a couple of signs of weakness, we still have unemployment down at 4.2, historically low. I think what we're going to find over the next couple of weeks is that earnings are going to be, for a 4th consecutive quarter, growing double digits. I think we're going to find, in spite of tariffs and tariff uncertainty, that margins are in the double digits, which is near a record. That's a very strong fundamental backdrop for me as a portfolio manager. So when I look out at the world, Maria, I recognize it's imperfect, but there is a lot more to like than to fear.
Yeah, well, there's also lots of fear around the U.S.-China relationship, Adam. I mean, I spoke with President Trump this week, and look, we talked about this heavy tariff that the president is threatening. But he made some comments that actually moved the market on Friday, saying that, you know, when you look at the 100% tariff threat on top of all the other tariffs, 157%. And he says it's not sustainable. What are your thoughts on where we are with China?
Well, first of all, my clients and I would like to thank you for that interview, because that certainly turned around markets. When he said it's unsustainable, what he is effectively doing is opening the door to conversations with President Xi. And I know that that meeting that has been talked about for so many weeks is sort of back on, having been kind of shelved. It's back on. You want these two countries talking. There may be an argument for less. Well, what's the expression they keep saying? Decoupling. You want to decouple a little bit, but you don't want to disengage. You have to have the two largest economies working with one another, even if there's some issues with the way China goes about things. Curiously, Maria, the Europeans have been very supportive of President Trump. That doesn't happen often, with regards to his taking a tough stand on the rare earths. And that's what really got the spat over the past week back in the spotlight, where China said, you know what, we're going to put a tax on rare earths. You're going to have some sort of license from us in order to be able to buy them, and that's if you can buy them at all. And President Trump said, no, that's not how it works. We're not doing business that way. And the Europeans came right to President Trump's side and said, we agree with you. And I think that's why China recanted, and that's also why President Trump was able to say, well, some of these tariffs may not be sustainable, and we're going to figure it out. It's all negotiating, Maria. You know, we're not accustomed to seeing sausage get made in public, but that's the way it's working in this administration. And I'm actually happy about that as a portfolio manager.
The art of the deal, right?
Yeah.
Adam, great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I know you have been bullish and spot on. Adam Johnson, thank you
Maria.
so much, sir.